Welcome to the CatchMark Community Local Musician Spotlight. I'm your host, Amy Yonkman, and each week we're going to bring you stories, inspirations, and journeys of the amazing local musicians in our community. Today I'm thrilled to be joined by Penny Rushing. Thank you for coming.
Thanks
She's a talented singer and ukulele player. We're going to dive into her musical journey, her influences, what keeps her creative on both on and off stage. So we're going to get started. So first, Penny, let us know a little bit about yourself.
Thanks for having me. Well, I'm 53, and I'm a grandmother of 3 little boys and 3 kids. And I didn't know how to play the ukulele until I was 47, so this is pretty new to me.
You can always learn, right?
Yep. But my husband, he's very musical. He's very talented. He can play all kinds of instruments, and he was always encouraging me to like, what do you want to play? What do you want to play? And I'm like, the ukulele. I would love to play that. It's always been like a really happy sounding instrument for me, and when I'd hear somebody play it, you're watching on TV or movies or something, and just, I really want to learn how to play that, but I am not musical at all. And so, or I thought, I don't read sheet music. That's never something that I've been able to get a handle on. And so I thought, well, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. How do you know what to do with it? And so anyways, for my 40th birthday, my husband surprised me with a trip to Elderly Instruments in Lansing. And he said, pick out any ukulele that you want. And I was like, any? And I was like, okay. And the poor guy working there, I made him play every single ukulele they had in stock.
You got to know it's the right one.
Because I was looking for something very particular, the sound. And I kept coming back to the same one over and over and over. And I said, that's the one. And for the life of me, I could not figure out how in the world to play it. For 7 years, it was in and out of its case, just taunting me and depressing me. I'm like, all right, I've got this. I'm going to do it this time. And I've got my books out, and I've got the little discs that come with them. And it was too much. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't understand this. And I tried YouTube several times. This was back before there was a lot of starting from the ground up kind of things. Or like, hey, here's how to play the song, and then they just play it. And I'm like, but I don't know how to make it sound like that. What are you doing? And so there was a big disconnect for me, and I was very frustrated. So my husband took a course online at udemy.com and on how to learn how to play the flute. So that was his newest endeavor at the time. And he said, hey, they have ukulele classes. Why don't you pick one and do it? And so I did. It was only like $12 or $15. And
oh, wow.
I got on a New Year's Eve special or something. And so I just locked myself in the bedroom, like, leave me alone. I'm focusing. And I blew through it in a weekend. And it's like,
the lights went off.
Went off. And it was like, it made sense. The connection was there. And I was like, oh my gosh, give me my music.
Yeah.
And the first song I learned how to play was I'm Yours by Jason Mraz.
I love that song.
I do too. and I would sing along. I already knew all the words to it. I'm just singing with it on the radio. But it was like, now to sing it and play it at the same time.
Yeah.
Ooh, smoke coming out my ears. I'm like, boy, that's a whole nother level that I didn't have at that point.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it took me 2 months to learn how to sing and play at the same time. Was it perfect? No. It was very clunky and choppy and, just single down strums and very slow. But I did it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought I could do that.
Right.
And so I think because it eluded me for so long and it was something that I really wanted to do, once I figured it out, I was like, I was so thirsty for it.
Yeah.
Give me more and give me more. What else can I do? What else can I do? What
Right.
else is there?
Yeah.
What does that mean? How does that work? And I think because my excitement for one about it, and then two, the other thing, like maybe I didn't know enough that maybe I wasn't afraid to try the hard stuff.
Yeah, I'm sitting here wondering, what gave you that drive? Like, what made you want it so bad? Do you think? Like, do you know?
It was just, I mean, I had it for 7 years and it haunted me. And
Yeah.
it haunted me. And it was so depressing and like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do it. And so once I figured it out, it was like out of my way. Like I have some time to make up.
All the doors are open.
Yeah. Because, how much more would I know by now if I'd have had that extra 7 years?
Yeah.
Or if I'd have figured it out when I was.
But you did
20s.
it. That's like, it's a great testament to just keeping on going.
Just keep trying. 'Cause
Yeah.
maybe if it doesn't work for you right now, maybe there's a different avenue
Yep.
that you can find that will get you to that place.
Yep.
And it only took me 7 years to get there. So
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm full force running. I am running to see what else I can do.
What a great thing for your kids and your grandkids to see you just kind of push and you have that story to tell them, because everybody gets that in life where you get that, you're stuck and but you want it, but you don't know how to get there.
Right.
And you did it.
Right.
So that's a great job. That's
Never give up.
Yeah, exactly. You are that story. So kind of, you kind of already told us how you got started, essentially. So was there a defining moment, essentially? I mean, I know you said your husband, had been involved in music, but was there like that defining moment that you knew you wanted to do this, as a hobby, as a, whatever it becomes eventually?
That moment, that breakthrough moment, that was it.
Yeah.
It was like
where the lights came on.
My way. I have some work to do.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just to see so many other people be able to do it and to feel like, oh, I'm never going to have that. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yep.
And
they're just up there and they're like,
yeah,
you're like,
and that's the thing is, I think in my head, I had this preconceived notion, I have to know how to read sheet music to do this.
Yeah.
And was that one of the roadblocks for me? Maybe that played a part of it. But going through that course online and seeing that I don't have to be able to go, okay, because I know where middle C is, and then like, how do you do that so fast?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
What that note is.
Yeah.
And what that's supposed to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell when something doesn't quite sound right, but I can't tell you what note that is.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to be.
Yep. So you can do it without reading the sheet music. Like, tell all the people. Like,
right.
you can
you can do this. That doesn't say that I don't have something that tells me what to play.
Yeah, you have that ear probably, so you have something.
It's the words with the chord
Yeah.
right above it. So if I'm playing the C chord, which is just, all the strings, but I'm just pressing my ring finger on that first string on the third fret, and that's the C chord, and that's it. I'm like, that's it?
Yep.
Look at how much I know already. I'm like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah. So I know I saw you at Walk the Beat. So what are some other local places that you tend to play at, or have played at in the past, or are coming up?
Yeah, I play every other Sunday at Sawyer's from 3 to 5 p.m. That's what we're doing right now. I was every Sunday for about 2.5 years. I played there every single Sunday from 2 to 4, and they've been great. It's been a wonderful place for me to grow and learn, and get in front of people, and get more comfortable speaking with people that I don't know, and just making that connection. How do you make that connection with people when you're playing music? You know? And so they've been a great place for me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And Fetch, I play at Fetch once in a while. I do a lot of open mics.
Yeah.
My first open mic was at Fetch, so that's a sweet spot for me. And so, they do them twice a month. First and third Wednesday of the month, we're over there doing that. And then I host the Sawyer's open mic every second Thursday of the month. And the Book Nook. I play at the Book Nook. I actually have one this Friday. I'm playing 7 to 9, which people aren't going to know that when they see this. But
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I do play again in October, but it's on the 5th, so we're going to miss that one too.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll be booking more after that.
Yeah.
Different locations.
Yeah. So how do you choose what you're going to play? I think you normally take requests and stuff.
I do. Yeah. I love to take requests. I like to know that I'm playing something that people want to hear. Like,
yeah, I love that.
How do you play that? I'd love to hear you do that, and so yeah, I usually have like my favorites.
Yeah.
That I like to make sure that I have in almost every time I play.
Yeah, you gotta have something in your back pocket.
Yeah, the ones that I know have known the longest. I can play it without looking at the music, just kind of making that eye contact and connection with the audience doing those. But then, yeah, I love to take requests. So I have a website people can go to. And then I was like, just follow that QR code and you get to that list. And then they're like, hey, can you do this one? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah, I loved that at the Walk the Beat. I scanned you and I'm like, what can we do? Like, and you had so many choices. I was like, how does she know all of this?
Well, I don't have them all memorized.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well, for everybody listening, there's a ton of choices when you go see her. There's just, I think every taste is in there.
Yeah.
Really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you have a favorite that you play? I mean, I know you said you love the I'm Yours, but besides that, is there like anything that you really like or like?
The second song that I learned, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to learn how to play the ukulele, is Tonight You Belong to Me. And that's from the movie The Jerk.
Yeah.
Steve Martin, Bernadette Peters out on the beach.
Yeah.
Singing that. I was like, play that.
I love that because it's not super, as well known maybe, but like,
right. So that's one of my favorites. But then Space Oddity, I kind of learned that as a joke. But it was the third song. And so it's very much an intermediate song to learn how to play. There's finger picking. It's a completely different strum than I was used to doing.
Yeah.
Of course, at that time everything was really new. Different chords that I'm like, wow, how do you do that? How do you make your fingers do that and so quickly? How do you get there fast? And I didn't really care for it at first. I was just kind of learning it for some friends.
Yeah.
But now it's one of my most favorite songs. It
has a story now too.
Because there's so many different elements.
Yeah.
To it. It's fun. It's just a fun song to play, and people know it, and they clap at the right time. And
right. It is fun when you can kind of interact. I mean, that's the whole point of it. Like, it's really that interaction of people singing along kind of with you probably sometimes, and
absolutely. They'll do the countdown.
So what do you think of our local White Lake music scene, the local musicians? I'm sure you guys kind of, see each other a lot. You might interact a lot. Do you work together, that kind of thing?
Yeah. And I feel like this area is very special because we have so many musicians and so many venues.
Yes.
It's not just the breweries, but then you've got the Pub 111, and you've got the Eagles, and the Book Nook, which is coffee shop, and so you see people, because we go out when I'm not playing. I'm going out and I'm listening to the music, and I'm talking to the musicians, and I've played with some of them, from some of the men from the Oat Brand Boys. They've joined me on Sundays a couple times, and I've joined with them on their Wednesdays, and just to get that experience playing with other people. It's a whole different animal. Learning how to play with other people. It's one thing because I'm
Yeah.
by myself and I know what I'm going to do,
Right.
when I'm going to do it.
Yeah, knowing how to like read people and
yes. And that was that's a really good experience in learning something new when we do that.
Yeah.
I do head to other locations for open mics. I've been to Rake in Muskegon where Justin Avdak and Eric Engblade, they run that, and just phenomenal. And you'll see them playing around this area too.
Yeah.
And
I love that. I mean, we're very local here, but then going out into Muskegon, and I know some people probably go into the GR area. I mean, people are traveling all over, but they all have their, it's here. It's a little more local, and GR it gets bigger. And,
right.
Yeah.
And I like to dip my toe into that a little bit someday soon, but just with my schedule the way it is right now, I'm just trying to stick kind of a little more local.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very, very much an anomaly, I think.
Yes.
Just because we have so many fantastic musicians and so many fantastic venues.
Yes, we do.
That have their doors open to us.
The local places are just great, and I think the way they work with you and they advertise it, I mean, obviously it's going to bring business in for them, but it's for you too. I mean, that having the word out there, and I mean, our local libraries even get into it, and also, I mean, everybody's kind of involved, and there's festivals that we have. We're very much that small town, and you can be, go to the farmers market and you might find somebody, or the artisan market, and somebody's playing, and that's just, there's always something that we can be doing. And I love that you do that. You go out, when you're not playing, and you're supporting them, you're listening to them. I'm sure you're getting ideas from them, So what are some of those, ideas you might get? Like, do you ever kind of, use them to kind of change the way you're doing things, or?
Well, I recently bought a new ukulele. Surprise, I think not. I think I'm at 12 now.
Oh my gosh.
But this one is totally different, and it's an Ibanez, and it's very much a rocking looking ukulele. And so this one I'm adding some accessories to. So amplifier and looper and the distortion and that kind of thing. And so that's going to open the doors for a lot of other music that I've been wanting to play for a long time. But this is going to give me that sound. And so now when I go and listen to other people play, I'm watching them use their pedals, and I'm seeing how they have things kind of set up. And so I'm just paying attention. I'm watching and I'm listening.
Do you still play with that original one that you went to Lansing and got?
I do occasionally. That one, though, is not an electric.
Okay.
It's just strictly acoustic.
Yep.
The sound is amazing. It's still my favorite.
Yeah.
But usually my husband uses that.
Does he?
He does, yeah.
So are any of your kids or grandkids, have they gotten into music? Are they old? Like, the kids obviously are old enough, the grandkids, are they, what do they do?
My kids, they all learned how to play instruments through school. So my oldest son was a trumpet player. My daughter, she did the bell kit for a little while, and she played the drums for a little bit. So she was more of a percussion.
Yeah.
And then she went to color guard.
Oh,
and
okay.
So, yeah, and I was so jealous because I always wanted to do color guard.
That always looked so cool to me as a kid. Like, I'm watching the football games, and I'm up there, and I'm like, man, they do that all at the same time. And
Right. I've always wanted to do that, but you had to already be in band.
Yep.
In order to try out.
Yeah, I quit that after, I think, fifth. I went more the choir route. So
I make it into choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, so I for the longest time I didn't know that I could sing.
I think anybody really can, essentially, and that's kind of the thing. I mean, you proved it with an instrument too. You can. It's just, that want to do it.
Right.
So when did you learn that you could sing? Like, what was it more the ukulele first you wanted to play, and then the singing came after, or was it the chicken or the egg?
Well, I mean, I've always enjoyed singing. And so, when it came to middle school tryouts, I'm going to try out because I was very excited about that. And then I got put on the alternate list, and everybody knew you don't come off the
Yeah.
alternate list. That's where you go to die.
Yeah. Okay.
Not happening.
Thanks,
So
but no thanks.
Wow, I must not be able to sing. Like I must not be able to sing as well as I thought I could.
Yeah.
So, but I still kept singing, on my own. And then when I got older, in my 20s, I joined the White Lake Festival Choir. And they had programs every Easter and Christmas. And I didn't do it every year or every season, but I just enjoyed singing. And I was in the soprano section, and I love trying to hit the highest notes.
Yeah.
And I did a couple solos, but the nerves being in front of people, I certainly didn't have, that confidence in my abilities to sing, and I think that showed through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I started doing open mics, and people were like, "Wow, I love your voice." I'm like, "Really? Thank you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe I am okay. Yeah,
Right.
I can do this. I can sing." So yeah, just the encouragement from doing open mics, from the other people that are there, not just the musicians, but the people that are listening just in the crowd. Going, "Oh, that was really something." Keep going.
Right.
I had so many people say, "Oh my gosh, don't stop singing." And just that encouragement. And I just kept going. So.
Yeah. So on that note, you got a lot of encouragement. So what is your advice for aspiring musicians? If it's, whether an instrument, singing, everything together, you seem to have had a lot of drive and encouragement. So what is your advice for them?
Just keep looking for whatever your heart is telling you. So if you're like, "Oh my gosh, I really want to try this," just do it. Just try it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work the first time, try again.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, try other things. Because, I feel like if I had figured out how to play maybe when I was younger, I still may not have had maybe the confidence in speaking to other people. That was something that always, as I'm growing up, speaking to people, I could always feel my face turn beet red.
Oh, I am so that.
And I'm like, and it'll occasionally happen still. But I worked really hard at putting myself out there and being in front of people and talking to people. It did not come naturally. And I just worked on it over the years. So if I had learned how to play this, I might not have done anything with it because I may still have been too shy.
Yep. Yeah, that was part of your whole journey, that the hard parts and getting through those, I think.
Right.
I mean, and that's, you just, people see where you're at now and they probably think, she's been doing this forever. And you have this whole story of, this kind of just started.
It did just start. I am so new to this. I'm enjoying every single moment. I have no idea what's coming next. You know? And I'm just like going along for the ride.
Yep, and you're just ready for it.
Goes,
yep. I love that.
Yeah.
That's right there. That is inspiring. I think it could inspire. I mean, anybody, not even a musician. Just you're gonna fall. You gotta kind of pick yourself back up and keep going and find that spot where you fit, essentially.
Right.
And then work at that. And then when you don't fit anymore, work at something else sometimes. So kind of what's next? I know you kind of mentioned some shows that are going to actually already be finished by the time we publish this podcast, but do you do anything November, December coming up? I know that's kind of far away now, but
I hope
kind of continue Sawyer's on Sundays. And
yes, absolutely. I'll still be doing the Sawyer's every other Sunday for as long as they'll have me.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to keep going.
I hope so. And we have a ukulele club. I started a club last year in June, and so we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. And it was not my idea. I have a friend who was like, you should start a club. You should start a ukulele club. She's like, I'd start it, but she's only up here half the year. And the other half of the year, she's down in Georgia. And so she's like, you really need to do it because I think it'd be great. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to teach people. You know? And she's like, oh my gosh, just show them. All you got to do is show them, and you're gonna do great. And I'm like, okay. And so we started off with just like 3 to 5 people. And they'd never ever held a ukulele before.
Wow.
And now they're strumming and singing, and we have probably between 50 and 60 members. They don't all show up at the same time. If they did, we wouldn't have enough room, probably.
Right. So where do you do the ukulele club at?
We meet every Sunday at the Book Nook from 12:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
So every Sunday.
Anybody is just kind of welcome to show up?
Absolutely.
All right.
No experience required.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're going and now you're doing a ukulele club.
Yes, I know. I never saw this coming.
Right.
Yeah. So we have extra ukuleles that you can borrow to like just give it a try.
Yeah.
And see if you like it, and borrow it, take it home. And play with that at home, and then before you know it, you'll have 5.
Yep.
And
do you have any like younger people, like teens, kids that come to that at all?
We have, yes. Yeah. We've had a couple people who a gentleman brings his daughter, and then we have a woman who brings her granddaughters, and it's open to everybody, and all levels. So we've got people who've been playing for years, and they're like, oh my gosh, yay, we have a club. And so they just jump right in, and they're strumming and singing.
That's such a great thing. And it's bringing people together, and
it does.
Great.
It's a great community event, and it's totally free.
Yeah.
It's open to everybody, and it's just a great, fun time.
Yeah, it sounds really fun. I'm gonna have to check it out.
I hope you do.
Yeah. So tell everybody where they can kind of find you on socials, if you have a website.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. So just facebook.com/thekippichick. And you can also find our Strum It White Lake Ukulele Club on Facebook as well. And I do have a Buy Me a Coffee website, and that's where I have the list of the songs I know how to play. So it's buymeacoffee.com/thekippichick.
I love that. Yeah, you guys got to check that out. She has like all the songs on it. There's so many.
I do them all the time. I do.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us today, Penny.
Thanks for having me.
It's been such a pleasure getting to know you and about your ukulele and the clubs. I had no idea. I had dove in, but I didn't know all of it. So for our listeners, be sure to check out Penny at the Kipi Chick on Facebook. Buy her a coffee, request some songs. Check her out at Sawyer's in the Book Nook and Fetch sometimes. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories from our local musicians in our area. As always, keep supporting your local musicians. I'm Amy Yonkman, and this has been the Local Musician Spotlight at CatchMark Community.